Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am the Caramel Critic and we are discussing Moon Knight season finale. So Harrow resurrects Ahmet and he becomes the Avatar. Mark goes back into the sands to find Steven and he basically kind of sacrifices himself. He basically tells Steven that Steven saved him and he in turn was saving Steven. And we see that Steven comes back to life. And the gates open back up and they're allowed to come back into the land of the living. We see that Mark and Steven together, they tell Khonshu that they will be his avatar again, but he has to promise to let them go once they've defeated Ahmet. So we get this cool fight scene between Ahmet and Khonshu and their avatars, Mark/Steve and Harrow. I really do like the design of Ahmet. I think it was pretty cool to see a lifelike version of this Egyptian deity. It's pretty cool. And we also get a great fight scene with Layla when she becomes Tarouette's avatar as well. She has these cool wings and she and Mark/Steve are trying to save the day. We learn that the only way to stop Ahmet is to trap her inside of Harrow's body. They can't trap her inside of a statue anymore. They have to do it in a living soul. So they trap him and instead of killing him, we see that he is put into a mental institution himself. We also learn that the mental institution we saw in previous episodes that Mark was in, that was not reality. What was reality were the previous episodes that we've been seeing with his travels with Layla in Egypt. And it turns out that the asylum was actually Mark's way of coping with reality and not the other way around. That also makes sense with seeing the sarcophagus that Steven was in and even the third one that they saw. These are things that were locked in his mind. And previous episodes have foreshadowed, along with that third sarcophagus, that there is a third identity. And we learn in the post-credit scene that it is Jake Lockley, and he is actually still Khonshu's avatar. He seems to be way more ruthless than Mark ever was, and he basically rescues Harrow from the asylum and kills him for Khonshu. I was so happy that we got to actually see that third identity. When it ended before the post-credit scene, I thought they were just going to leave that up to maybe the second season, and then we would meet this third identity. As far as my thoughts on the show, this is probably my second favorite of the Disney Plus MCU shows. My first, of course, being WandaVision. I think it was done very well. This kind of reminds me of WandaVision with the fact that they kept us in the dark most of the episodes. It was something different. It was weird. You were confused. I liked, honestly, the fact that I was confused. I didn't know what was going on until you got to a certain episode. And like with Wanda, we see that a lot of stuff is going on inside of Mark's mind. And with each episode, they unveiled more and more of his backstory and what was going on with him. Growing up, honestly, I wanted to be an Egyptologist, so anything to do with Egypt I loved. So it was great seeing them unlock mysteries and them showing the deities and just everything Egyptian. I do think they also handled the trauma that Mark went through. I love the depth and the character development they had in this show. It was fun to watch. They had some great fight scenes. They had some great dialogue, and you really cared for these characters. At first, I know a lot of fans really cared for Steven, and I'm sure those who didn't know his story from the comics, they were hoping that Steven was the real person and Mark was the second identity. But then they flipped the script and they made you start caring about Mark. I think I cared about Mark even more than Steven, and you really wanted these two people to work it out and for things to be better for them. I did feel that the final showdown between Ahmet and Khonshu and Mark, Steve, Harrow, Layla, I do feel it might have been over a little too quick. It could have been because I was wanting more, but it did seem to be over as soon as it started. And I do feel like it wrapped up very nicely, which, again, maybe because the fight scene ended so abruptly, it was, they had to make sure everything was resolved by the end. And then we cut the scene and Mark's back in his apartment. I do feel that maybe they should have started the fight scene earlier or at least had the episode a little bit longer. I do think the ending, like right after the fight, it should have been something maybe a little bit different, maybe something more emotional or just something more resolute. And I know the end credit scene did give us, you know, an ending to Harrow. We see what happened to him and we see his ending, and then we get to see the third identity, Jake Lockley, who's working with Khonshu. But the actual ending of the episode before the end credit scene, I think they should have done something maybe just a little bit deeper. But overall, I really enjoyed this show. This is a show I would watch again. Like I said, WandaVision is probably my favorite, and then Moon Knight is next. And I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, but I really enjoyed Hawkeye. I liked the story. I loved the banter between Hawkeye and Kate. And then also having Yelena on there was great. I loved the character Echo. And then seeing Vincent D'Onofrio back as Kingpin, I really enjoyed the show. It was very fun to me. And Moon Knight was also fun as well to me. Let me know in the comment section which MCU Disney Plus show is your favorite. I still have my X-Men fan cast video coming out soon, so look out for that, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.